And joining me now is Asaduddin Owaisi, the AIMIM MP, who's just returned from one of the all-party delegations. Appreciate you joining us here, Mr. Owaisi. You've been traveling and gone to at least 4 countries, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, Algeria. Give us a sense of what is the biggest takeaway that you've had from all your interactions, particularly when it comes to how does the world now see what happened in Pahalgam and then Operation Sindoor?
Well, each of these 4 countries which we have gone to, they have condemned the Pahalgam attack. And they are very important for us because out of these 4, one is now presently a member of non-permanent member of Security Council. One country would become in next year. And all these 4 countries are part of Middle East, North Africa, FATF. So we will be requiring their help. And all these 3 Gulf countries are members, all these 4 countries are members of OIC. The 3 Gulf countries are part of GCC. And so they had some questions they were asking us. One was, why don't you speak to Pakistan? So we reminded them, we explained to them that after 26/11, which happened in Mumbai, our investigators went all the way to Pakistan, gave them the DNA samples, gave them audio recordings of terrorists sitting in Pakistan directing attacks in Mumbai. We had shown them that a live terrorist was caught because of bravery of the Mumbai police. Nothing happened. Then we also reminded them that in Pathankot, the ISI, in my opinion, was wrongly allowed by this government to come to Pathankot, but nothing happened. Pakistan didn't cooperate. It was only when Pakistan was put in FATF in 2018 that the trial of 26/11 moved. But unfortunately, what we also reminded them of this classic case of Sajid Mir. Now, Sajid Mir was the main master planner of 26/11. Pakistan was saying he's dead. But as soon as Pakistan was put in FATF, Pakistan said Sajid Mir is alive, and then they informed the world that their courts have convicted him for some 10-15 years. So these were questions which were asked to us. We had a very 2-hour-long meeting with the Minister of State of Saudi Arabia for Foreign Affairs, His Excellency Adil Jubair. We met some very, very important people in Bahrain, in Kuwait, in Algiers. When in Algeria, we reminded them they had a black decade from 1990s to mid-2000, where 50,000 Algerians were killed by terrorists of Al-Qaeda and Daesh. So we reminded them, in fact, in Saudi Arabia, I had reminded when we were meeting our interlocutors, let me complete, we reminded them about a fatwa that was issued by Saudi Arabia by their scholars, I think so in 2010 and 13, wherein they gave a fatwa against terrorism, and in that fatwa they said that giving finances to terrorism also your complicity in that terrorism. So I feel all in all we tried our best. But
Mr. Owaisi, you say you tried your best, you were very detailed. But if I may ask you, while they condemned terrorism, did they condemn Pakistan? Because these are OIC countries which in the past have raised the Kashmir issue as well. Did you see them, are they willing to outrightly condemn the Pakistani army state?
Well, you see, some countries were definitely not happy with what Pakistan is indulging in. Some countries were telling us, why don't you speak to them? We reminded Saudi Arabia, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, that you have given a loan to them of what, $2 billion in 22. And then in 24, I think so, they've extended a $14 billion loan. We told them that where is the money going? It is going to their army. It's not going for the development. So yes, in our meetings, they were concerned about this whole thing which happened. But we had to explain to them that we were compelled to react in the way we reacted. Had Pahalgam not happened, Why would we go and attack only 9 proscribed organizations head office?
But
we
are
would have
these
retaliated had Pakistan kept quiet, but we had to retaliate.
But are these countries
Yeah.
aware that Pakistan has misused religion to spread terror? Are they aware of the fact and the manner in which Pahalgam was the attacks were carried out? And therefore, these Islamic countries, are they aware what Pakistan is doing to Islam across the world by using terror as an instrument to target India?
Well, they are aware. They are definitely aware. They are definitely aware. You cannot say they are not aware. We reminded them.
No, why don't they speak out then
those
against
26
Pakistan,
people
Mr.
were killed
Owaisi?
in Pahalgam by. Well, you should ask them. I am not a spokesperson of these 4 countries, but my job as a member of the delegation was to put forward India's viewpoint, to explain to them if they have any questions. But what policy they will adopt, I think so Rajiv Sardesai should fly down to all these 4 countries and speak to people we have met. But this was not our job. Our job was to go and explain to them that India has been a victim of terrorism, perpetrated, sponsored and aided by Pakistan. And many countries accepted that, yes, terrorism has happened. We reminded the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia when we met our interlocutors that in May 2003 in Riyadh, where we met all these His Excellencies, that it was attacked by Al-Qaeda. 8 years ago, Houthis have launched a missile attack at Aramco. In Algeria, we know for a fact. So, all these countries are against Daesh. They are against Al-Qaeda. So, we have told them that there is no difference between LET or this Resistance Front and JEM or JAM. They all subscribe to a takfiri ideology of killing any person, Muslim or non-Muslim. So this viewpoint we had sent, we had told them that these 2 emails which were sent by this organization accepting this Pahalgam massacre were sent from an area which is close to the Pakistani military cantonment. So we have shown them that there is a proof. And we have told these countries that this TRF organization is not which suddenly erupted or came on April 22nd. India had informed the United Nations Sanction Committee 1262 in December 2024 that there is a resistance front, which is a new name for LET. We informed them twice in I think so in 24. So all in all, all of us have whatever intellectual capacity we had, whatever information we had put forward the best case of India and ensured that they remember that Pakistan wants to destabilize not only South Asia but the whole region over here.
You're making important points, but I come back to that core question. You say that they all condemn terror, they all condemn Pahalgam. You seem to suggest that they recognize that what Pakistan is doing by funding, arming, sponsoring these terror groups is against the core tenets of Islam. Do you therefore expect that these countries will now slowly distance themselves from Pakistan? As you rightly said there, Saudi Arabia has continued to finance Pakistan over the years. Did you get a sense that they've recognized that it is not in their interest to be financing and sponsoring countries like Pakistan, or do they still see Pakistan within part of a pan-Islamic brotherhood?
Well, Rajdeep, we had explained to them that this whole boogie of Pakistan claiming to a Muslim country is wrong, because you have 240 million Muslims living in India. I cannot sit here and say X country would change their position or do this, that. You see, that is for that country to decide. Diplomatically and in international relations, one should not speak about a country, what that other country would be doing. You can definitely say that we had explained to them. They are sympathetic to all these terror activities which have happened in India. And these countries, please remember that you have 27 lakh Indians living in Saudi Arabia. You have 10 lakh Indians living in Kuwait. You have 3 lakh Indians living in Bahrain. And you have many Indian companies who have invested in these countries. You have many companies or government of these countries have invested in India. They have historical relationship with India. They recognize India's economic superiority. And we hope and expect that these visits which have been planned by all these 7 groups will have a positive impact, inshallah.
You're saying that you hope that these visits will have a positive impact. One of the interesting aspects, Mr. Owaisi, is that while all of you have gone and spoken out in one voice abroad, in India we are seeing the divisions playing out within. Amit Shah goes to Bengal, accuses Mamata Banerjee of opposing Operation Sindoor, which she actually hasn't, but accuses her of playing vote bank politics. You've had Rahul Gandhi targeting Prime Minister Modi, claiming he surrendered Narendra Modi. How do you respond to that? That while you've gone abroad defending India within, the BJP is attacking the Congress, Congress is attacking BJP, BJP and Trinamool in a face-off. How do you respond to what's happening at home?
That is our democracy at work. We are not Pakistan. We are not those countries where they have theocracy or kings. This is our democracy at its best. We have the right to criticize each other. We have criticizing, but at the same time, you have the TMC member, part of the delegation. You have all Congress members who are part of the delegation. You have Supriya Sule who is heading a delegation. You have Kani Mozi.
But isn't it sending out wrong signals, Mr. Owaisi, with due regard? The fact is, if you all speak in one voice abroad and you speak in very discordant voices at home, you're saying it's a triumph of democracy. But at the end of the day, doesn't it send out mixed signals?
Well, what matters is that when you're abroad, you're representing India. What is the language that you're using? The language is different. You're in India. So you have to, you're part of a political party. Of course, that is our democracy working. That is how, we can say that we are exercising our freedom of expression. Yes, we might say sometimes we cannot say what we want to say. We can also say that Rajiv Sardesai cannot say what he wants to say sitting at this place. But then again, it's still a democracy is there, isn't it?
No. You see, there are those, for example, CPI's D. Raja, while calling for a special session of Parliament, Mr. Owaisi has just said, it is unacceptable that foreign governments will be briefed while India's own Parliament and people remain in the dark. How do you respond? Do you believe that even before the foreign delegations were sent out, there should have been a special session of Parliament? Or do you believe there should be a special session of Parliament now?
No, but the brief that was given to us, the whole nation knows. I mean, I went along with Group 1 headed by my good friend Jay Panda. Was it the information that we had? Was that information not in the public realm in India? It was there in public realm in India. Yes, it would have been good if a parliament session would have been called. But now when today monsoon parliament session dates have been announced, my party will definitely demand that a proper discussion should take place on Pahalgam, the security lapse which happened in Pahalgam, who's accountable for it. There should be a discussion. And if the Modi government says it's a sensitive issue, we will not allow a discussion. I want to remind this government through you, through your channel, is that the parliamentary rules provide you to have an in-camera discussion, wherein without media reporting any of it. This was done, I think so, once in 1960s. The same can happen, but definitely there are pointed questions will be raised against the government. And how did this security lapse happen? Who's accountable for it? And subsequently, what would be a deterrence policy? So I hope, but as far as my party is concerned, we will be definitely demanding that such a discussion take place in the forthcoming monsoon session, which will be held in
So
July.
what you are saying, Mr. Owaisi, is interesting. You are saying you've gone abroad, you've exposed Pakistan as a perpetrator of terror, brought out the difference between India as a victim and Pakistan as a perpetrator. You've used very strong words against Pakistan, but you are saying now that you are back in India, you will continue to raise some of the inconvenient questions like security lapses in Pahalgam and other related questions. Am I correct?
These are not inconvenient. These are the most important questions which the nation would want to know. If you say it inconvenient, why should I say it inconvenient? This is a proper question that has to be asked with our government. We'll definitely ask it.
No, the reason I'm asking you, Mr.
You're
Owaisi,
part of a delegation, which is the
sure, you're making a distinction between going on a foreign
Yeah.
delegation abroad, all-party delegation abroad, and your role as a opposition leader in this country. My point, the reason I ask you this is because leaders like you have often been demonized in recent times. You've been among those who've often been termed as anti-national when you speak out at home. Now suddenly people are celebrating Mr. Owaisi, congratulating you for the tough stand you've taken against Pakistan and Pakistan-based terror. How do you respond? What would you tell those who once saw you as anti-national and today are saying Owaisi is the true nationalist?
Again, I would say this is our democracy is working. They can say whatever they want. That doesn't changes me. That I am not dying for anyone's praises. I have never asked for a certificate of patriotism and nationalism of anyone. I will continue to say what I have to say, but if they have realized, oh, Mr. Owaisi has said this, what can I tell them? I have always been like this. So we are not, I don't, see, this is democracy. Today they have praised you, tomorrow they'll criticize you. So this happens in politics, the day any politician, any leader starts accepting that every 24 hours I should be praised. And if anyone who doesn't praises me, then I will go after him, then that is not democracy. That is not democracy. You're weakening democracy basically.
But tell me, Mr. Owaisi, in conclusion, how do you think the last 5-6 weeks since Pahalgam and Operation Sindoor have changed Indian politics, if at all? We've seen politics in this country very partisan, very polarized. We've seen political leaders use these tragic incidents often for electoral benefit. Will anything change, Asaduddin Owaisi? Do you believe that in a way what we saw with your all-party delegation is a healthy sign? And will that continue, you hope?
Well, Rajdeep, as far as India's integrity is concerned, fight against terrorism, which is sponsored by Pakistan, China occupying our 2,000 square kilometer of land, and anything related to our country, yes, we have always stood by the country. We'll always stand by the country. As far as within the country, our politics is concerned, our fight for equal share, our fight for representation, our fight for dignity, our fight against an unconstitutional WAF law, our fight against an unconstitutional CAA, our fight against Gaurakshak, against mob lynching, will continue. That is part of our democracy. That is part of my faith in the Indian Constitution, and the Constitution demands of each one of us to ensure that we realize the dream of Baba Sahib Ambedkar of getting equality, justice, fraternity. That is important. That continues. But as far as if any country attacks India, where is a question of being me being AIMIM, or you being Shiv Sena or BJP? All of us will have to stand together.
The reason I'm asking you this is because Nishikant Dubey, when he was in Saudi Arabia, and he was part of your delegation, said terrorism has no religion. Anurag Thakur also seemed to suggest that terrorism in a way has no religion. Now these are the same leaders who in India you and others have often been at odds with, because you believe that they practice communal politics in this country against Muslims. How are you going to reconcile that?
Reconcile what? What do you have to reconcile for?
The same leader who says terrorism has no religion in Saudi Arabia may well sing a different tune within this country.
No. As far as Nishikant Dubey, Anurag Thakur is concerned, we will fight them to the last breath of my life, because we oppose their ideology. We cannot accept their ideology, that is the ideology of RSS. We will not accept it. Yes, we were representing a country over there, and I had told this to the foreign delegation that we have even, I mean, credit must be given to Jay Panda, who said that we have, we differ on politics, we belong to different political ideologies. You have members over here who are bitter opponents of them. Yes, that continues. How is it that one is saying that, oh, just because I went or he went or she went, we will be finishing off our ideology? No, Rajdeep, that cannot be. India, as far as the country is concerned, the nation is concerned, which has faced a cowardly attack from a neighboring country, wherein people were killed. Of course, we'll have to show unity on this point, but as far as our country's politics is concerned, this will continue. No question of reconciling with Mr. Dubey or Anurag Thakur.
I'll ask you a final question. The PPP chairman, former foreign minister of Pakistan, Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, who you've already been very critical of, goes to the United Nations headquarters and says India was using terrorism as a political tool to demonize Muslims in India. What will you tell Bilawal Bhutto Zardari?
Well, this young chap should tell the world who killed his mother. He should tell the whole world that even the United Nations had sent an investigating committee to probe his mother's death. What did that committee tell him? That committee told him that the investigators did a shoddy investigation. His mother was killed, 139 people were killed along with her. That this person should tell the whole world what happened, who killed his mother. You blame Musharraf ran away. And now you have the cheek to tell India, oh, terrorism this, terrorism that. You lost your mother, my friend. And then you tell, oh, India's spy agencies should talk to each other. One prime minister did the most wrong thing he had ever done, was to dismantle the whole system which we had created over years in Pakistan. We've sent our investigators to Pakistan after 26/11. We allowed, which I have publicly said that was a wrong decision by Modi government to allow ISN to Pathankot. What happened? Nothing happened, nothing moved. Pakistan should be brought back into FATF. That is what all these important countries should do. Whether it is USA, UK, Russia, China, anyone who is against terrorism should bring back Pakistan in FATF grey list. Then only we'll be able to control Pakistan, and the world should realize that Pakistan is the epicenter of terrorism and of takfirism.
Because you used that, you told this to many of the countries you went to, bring Pakistan back under the Financial Action Task Force, FATF. Have these countries realized at least that Pakistan must be brought under FATF if it is to be reined in?
See, in 2018, when Pakistan was brought in FATF grey list, many of these countries helped us. Many of these countries didn't object to Pakistan being in grey list. And in fact, these 4 countries, Middle East, North Africa, are part of the FATF. So we require their help. And I'm sure that the presentations which we had made in front of our interlocutors, the points which we have made and explained to them, I am sure, inshallah, this will have a positive effect. But these are things which now our government's MEA and the whole government political ministers or whatever it is should take it forward.
In fact, now the challenge is, of course, to get our diplomacy right and make sure that Pakistan is brought under FATF at least. At the very end, Mr. Owaisi, you're probably going to meet the Prime Minister next week. He's likely to meet all the delegations. What will you tell Prime Minister Modi when you meet him?
I don't know whether such meeting will take place.
But if there is one,
it is too early to speculate on it. We don't know whether. No, publicly nothing has been announced, Rajdeep. But you see, I have my own meetings in Hyderabad. I have been away for.
What's your message to Prime Minister Modi?
A lot of work has piled up. My message to Prime Minister Modi is, as far as terrorism is concerned, the country is one and united. As far as Pahalgam is concerned, we want answers from you. And as far as putting Pakistan into FATF is concerned, we want the Prime Minister and his government to ensure that Pakistan is brought back into FATF grey list. And internally, I will tell the Prime Minister, we are opposed to you politically. We will continue to fight against your ideology.
Okay. Asaduddin Owaisi, for joining me and speaking as firmly as ever, clearly as ever. Appreciate you joining me and welcome back home.
Thank you, Raj.